Inside a factory in Shenzhen, there are no lights on, no air conditioning, no voices, because no humans work here anymore. While Western tech giants were arguing over chatbots, China silently built something far more dangerous, the world's first fully embodied AI workforce. Imagine you are running a factory in Ohio. You make car parts. You have been making car parts for 30 years. Last month, your Chinese competitor cut its price by 30%, not because its workers accepted lower wages, because it replaced them. Not with conveyor belts and robotic arms bolted to the floor, with something that walks upright, uses its hands, and never sleeps. In 2025, Chinese companies shipped 90% of all humanoid robots delivered anywhere on Earth. China shipped 11,000. American companies combined shipped fewer than 700. That is not a gap. That is a different category of competition entirely. And the question it raises is not whether robots will take manufacturing jobs. That question has already been answered. The question is, which country controls the machines doing the taking? Right now, that answer is China. Not in a future projection, not in a research paper. In factories running today, making products shipping today at prices no human workforce can match. By the end of this video, you will understand one thing clearly: how a country the West wrote off as cheap labor built the most advanced robotic workforce in history in under 3 years, without anyone in the West noticing until the numbers became impossible to ignore. And you will understand why the gap is not closing. It is widening every single quarter. Here's the part nobody is talking about. Inside a Xiaomi factory in Chongqing, one smartphone rolls off the line every single second. No lights on, no air conditioning running, no voices, because no humans work there. The machines do not need light to see. They do not need temperature control to function. They work at 3 in the morning on Christmas Day at exactly the same speed as noon on Monday. Foxconn replaced 60,000 workers at a single plant in Kunshan, not over a decade, in one transition. BYD and CATL have both aggressively automated their production bases. BYD is the world's largest electric vehicle maker. CATL is the world's largest battery maker. China's manufacturing workforce fell from 115 million in 2013 to below 85 million in 2025, 30 million jobs gone. While exports hit record highs in early 2026, this is the part that breaks every standard economic model. In every previous era of history, fewer workers meant less output. In China in 2025, fewer workers produced more output at lower cost. The productivity gain showed up in trade data, before most economists had a framework to explain it. Dark factories do not just reduce labor costs, they eliminate the ceiling on production speed entirely. A human worker gets tired, makes errors, and needs breaks. A robot running the same task at 3 in the morning performs identically to 3 in the afternoon. The factory never slows down. But dark factories with fixed robotic arms are only the first layer of what China built. The second layer is something far more ambitious and far more dangerous for every manufacturer outside China. Here is the detail that changes everything. A robotic arm on a factory floor does exactly one thing. It tightens one bolt, or welds one seam, or moves one specific part. You have to redesign the entire factory around it. The assembly line must come to the robot. Every station must be purpose-built for that exact machine. A humanoid robot changes that equation entirely. It has 2 hands with individual finger control. It can walk between workstations without modification to the building. It can pick up a tool, use it, put it down, and move to the next task. It can operate in a factory built for humans without rebuilding a single station. This is why humanoids matter in a way that fixed industrial arms never did. You do not redesign the factory, you replace the worker. UBTECH's Walker S2 is already doing this at BYD, Geely, Foxconn, ADFAW, Dongfeng, BAAC, and SF Express. It swaps its own batteries autonomously, which means the production line never stops for a robot recharge. Think about what that means. The robot charges itself during breaks in the workflow. No downtime, no shift changes, no overtime costs. And in January 2026, Airbus signed an agreement to bring Walker S2 units into aircraft assembly, not a Chinese company, Airbus. The European aerospace giant decided Chinese humanoid robots were ready for aviation manufacturing. Airbus planes carry a third of all air passengers on Earth. When Airbus starts buying Chinese humanoids, the story stops being about China's domestic production. It becomes about who supplies the global factory floor. Now, here's where this gets genuinely alarming for anyone watching from the United States. In 2025, AgiBot shipped 5,168 humanoid units. Unitree shipped 5,500. UBTECH shipped 1,079. Leju shipped 2,000. That is, Chinese companies alone. Now the American side. Tesla shipped 150 units to its own factories, not to external customers. Figure AI shipped approximately 350 units to its own internal fleet. Agility Robotics shipped approximately 150 units. The Chinese total, nearly 14,000. The American total, approximately 650, a ratio of more than 20 to 1, and this was 2025. AgiBot rolled its 10,000th robot off the Shanghai assembly line in March 2026, 3 months after hitting 5,000. The production curve is not linear, it is exponential. AgiBot hit 15,000 cumulative units by July 2026. Unitree is targeting 10,000 to 20,000 shipments in 2026 alone. Unitree has also committed to expanding capacity to 75,000 humanoid robots per year. While Tesla has not yet begun public sales of Optimus to any external customer, the race is not close. It is not even happening on the same track. One side is scaling toward hundreds of thousands of units per year. The other side is still measuring output in hundreds. Here's the part that explains how China got here so fast. It is not because Chinese engineers are smarter than American engineers. It is because of where they build. The Yangtze River Delta is the most vertically integrated hardware manufacturing ecosystem on Earth. Unitree manufactures its own motors, reducers, and sensors in-house. Every supplier it does not make itself is within a 2-hour logistics radius. DJI makes the world's dominant drone hardware. Its motor and sensor technology transfers directly into humanoid robot joints. DJI is 40 minutes from Unitree's facility. EV actuator makers operate in the same industrial parks as the robot assemblers. Their components translate directly into robot joints. Custom parts arrive in days, not weeks. A design revision can be prototyped, tested, and revised in 3 weeks in Shenzhen. The same iteration takes 3 to 4 months in California or Munich. Not because California or Munich lacks engineering talent, because they lack the supply chain density that makes rapid hardware iteration possible. Multiply that speed difference across hundreds of design iterations over 3 years, and you get a shipment ratio of 20 to 1. The supply chain is not a supporting advantage. It is the primary advantage. Everything else compounds from it. Component costs are lower because volume is higher, quality improves faster because iteration speed is higher, and the data that improves the AI controlling these robots accumulates faster because more robots are running in real environments. China is not just ahead on hardware, it is ahead on the learning loop that makes the hardware better. Here is the number the Chinese government is not hiding. 100,000 humanoid robots deployed by 2027. That is not a research aspiration. That is a procurement mandate backed by budget. The 2025 Humanoid Robot Action Plan sets specific deployment targets, issued by the Ministry of Industry and 5 other ministries. Automotive, electronics, logistics. Government entities must purchase domestically produced humanoid robots. State-owned enterprises receive procurement credits for deploying them. Industrial parks receive subsidies for hosting humanoid pilot programs. Universities receive funding for humanoid AI research tied to commercial deployment timelines. This is the same policy playbook that made China the dominant solar panel manufacturer in the world. In 2010, China had 7% of global solar panel production capacity. By 2020, it had 80%. The playbook is consistent across every strategic industry China has targeted. Subsidize the supply chain until domestic manufacturers achieve scale. Mandate government procurement to create guaranteed demand. Build volume until unit costs fall below any foreign competitor's cost floor. Then export at prices competitors cannot match. Solar panels took 10 years to run this cycle. China is attempting to run it on humanoid robots in 5. And unlike solar panels, which generate electricity, humanoid robots perform physical labor. Every category of work that requires hands and the ability to move through space is inside the addressable market. That market is not measured in gigawatts. It is measured in the entire global manufacturing workforce of approximately 300 million people. Here is the military dimension that most coverage avoids entirely. In February 2026, Unitree performed at the Chinese New Year Gala. Over 1 billion viewers watched. A fleet of G1 humanoid robots executed a fully synchronized, fully autonomous kung fu routine on national television. Most Western coverage called it a spectacle. It was not a spectacle. It was a capability demonstration broadcast to the largest television audience on Earth. The same coordination that produces synchronized martial arts routines in a studio also produces coordinated movement in contested environments. Earlier footage from Chinese military exercises showed robot dogs carrying machine guns, navigating obstacle courses autonomously. This footage circulated widely on social media, not remote-controlled, autonomously. The Pentagon has analysts whose entire job is watching this footage. Because the supply chain that lets China ship 14,000 humanoids into factories also applies to military robots. A Unitree G1 costs roughly $20,000. An American infantry soldier costs roughly $100,000 per year in salary and benefits alone, not counting training, equipment, medical care, or lifetime veteran benefits. The economics of autonomous military systems follow exactly the same logic as the economics of autonomous factory workers. Cheap enough to produce at scale, smart enough to perform useful tasks. And China already has the manufacturing infrastructure to produce them in volume. The United States Department of Defense has identified this as a Tier 1 strategic concern. What they have not answered is this: how do you compete with a 20-to-1 production advantage? In the exact hardware category both sides are racing toward, here is the honest part of what China has actually built versus what it claims. UBTECH said, Walker S2 is at most 50% as efficient as a human worker. Statement date, January 2026. The manufacturer said it, not a critic. The manufacturer said it, not a critic. Most deployment partnerships described publicly as large-scale commercial installations are pilots. UBTECH documents many automotive trials, but most disclosures omit fleet size, sustained operating duration, and independent performance verification. The difference between a trade show demonstration and a real deployment is simple. Does the customer keep the robot after the demo ends and pay for the next batch? AgiBot's production curve is extraordinary. AgiBot was also founded in 2023. It has 3 years of operating history. A company with 3 years of history projecting robot lifespans of 20 years is making a modeling assumption, not reporting a measurement. Unitree's first quarter 2026 net profit fell 47.7% year-on-year, not because the business is failing, because the company is spending every yuan it generates on R&D and capacity expansion for the next generation. The improvement trajectory is real. The current capability has real limits. Robots that are 50% as efficient as humans are useful in specific high-volume, repetitive tasks. They are not yet general-purpose replacements for skilled human workers. The honest picture is that Chinese humanoid robots are deployed in real factories performing real work at meaningful scale. They are slower than humans, less dexterous, and require more maintenance than public marketing acknowledges. The question is not whether they match humans today. The question is how fast the gap closes. And every data point from the past 3 years points in one direction. Here is what the reshoring argument gets wrong. Since 2018, the United States has committed hundreds of billions of dollars to bring manufacturing back from China. The CHIPS Act allocated $52 billion for domestic semiconductor manufacturing. The Inflation Reduction Act committed $369 billion to clean energy and manufacturing incentives. Tariffs on Chinese goods have reached levels not seen since the 1930s. The argument underlying all of this was that higher Chinese wages would eventually erode China's manufacturing cost advantage. American wages plus American proximity to American consumers would eventually produce a competitive equilibrium. That argument assumed the competition was between American workers and Chinese workers. It was never that competition. It was always between American workers and Chinese automation. And now it is between American automation and Chinese automation. Tesla's Optimus program is genuinely impressive engineering. It is also shipping to Tesla's own factories, not to external customers at commercial scale. Figure AI raised $675 million in a single funding round, the largest single humanoid funding round in American history. It has shipped approximately 350 units, all internal. The American humanoid industry has extraordinary capital and extraordinary engineering ambition. It does not yet have extraordinary volume. And in hardware development, volume is how you generate the data that improves the software. Every robot running in a real factory is a data collection device feeding the AI that controls it. China has tens of thousands of data collection devices running in real industrial environments right now. America has a few hundred running in controlled settings. The data gap compounds the hardware gap, and both are widening every quarter. Here is the full picture. 90% of all humanoid robots shipped anywhere on Earth in 2025 came from China. AgiBot hit 10,000 cumulative units in March 2026, 3 years after the company was founded. Unitree is targeting 75,000 units of annual production capacity. The Chinese government has mandated 100,000 deployed humanoids by 2027. Walker S2 is already working on factory floors at BYD, Foxconn, Geely, and Airbus. A factory in Chongping makes 1 smartphone per second with 0 human workers. Foxconn replaced 60,000 workers at a single plant. The same supply chain advantage producing this at factory scale is now being applied to military robotics. And the AI running inside these robots is not a special classified system developed in a government lab. It is derived from the same open models China has been releasing to the world. DeepSeek architecture, trained on Chinese data, embedded in Chinese hardware, running in Chinese factories, and increasingly in Airbus factories. The West is not losing a manufacturing race to cheaper human labor. It lost that race 20 years ago. The race now is about who controls the machines that replace the labor, and the AI that decides what those machines do. No tariff addresses that. No subsidy closes a 20-to-1 production gap in 3 years. Subscribe if you want to follow where this leads, and leave your answer in the comments. If China controls the robots that build everything, and the AI running those robots, what leverage does that leave for everyone else?